Welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. My name's Scott.
And I'm Carl.
How's it going, Carl?
Good.
All right.
And how are you?
I'm good. Good. My allergies are acting up a little bit, but outside of that, I'm good.
Well, that's kind of just Wednesdays.
It's every Wednesday, I know. It's every day, to be honest, but yeah, it is. It is what it is. Outside of allergies, everything is going well. Anything new this week, Carl?
Well, it's episode 67. I always like to say that.
No, it's 68. Get it straight.
Oh, you're right. That's good. That's very appropriate.
You set me up for that, didn't you?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I totally did that on purpose. So we that was pretty good though. We just got a huge snowstorm here. So we had no snow at all, and now we got, I don't know, 12, 15 centimeters of snow in one night. So it feels like spring is having a joke on us. But
well, just so the audience knows, we're about 8 hours away. You are more north than I am, but you're also east. We have no snow. We have no snow here.
Well, you're kind of in a warm spot, yeah.
We're like California.
Yeah, just like California. Exactly.
Isn't that what you called it the last time? Southern Canada's California.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Windsor is a little bit. I always found going to Windsor, which is another 3 hours further from me, but away from you as well.
Yeah.
I always find it a little bit warmer going there. I don't know why. I don't know.
I don't know.
We won't get into all that kind of stuff, but no, it's there's no snow here, so that sucks.
Sucks.
Yeah, it gets all slushy and everything for you.
It'll be gone though. Like it'll be gone by the weekend. Like after today, I think it's 10, 11, 12. It'll be gone. Oh. So it's all good. It's all good.
You know what? We do have the snow. I wouldn't miss the snow, but I do like some cooler days. I don't like it. Like, I think I'd rather have like a -2 than a +40.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Because my Jamaican buddy, Omar, he likes the hot. He likes it as hot can be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he does not like the cold. But I think, we've grown up into this, and I think this is what we kind of come acclimate to. Is the right word? Come accustomed to?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that. My problem is when it's hot, it's also really humid. So it's kind of like a double whammy. And there's tons of bugs. Let's be honest, it kind of sucks. So in the winter, it can be bitterly cold, and in the summer, it can be like sticky hot. Now, we'll see. But enough about weather.
We got humidity here too. Do you guys have a lot of humidity?
Yeah, we get a ton of it.
Okay,
that's the problem.
It comes off the lakes here, but you guys got the St. Lawrence River and everything going on.
We're in a valley too. We're in a valley, so it tends to be humid. So it's not horrible, but it's like when people talk about temperatures elsewhere, the humidity makes a huge difference, I think, right? Our winters are really dry. It's not a wet winter either. So anyways, yeah. So anything happened this week?
Oh, lots, dude. Do you want me to, where do I start?
Go ahead. Wherever.
Well, I had an auction on Saturday.
Yeah.
That was good. It was okay. I think I said the previous week was really good. I had a lot of fun with that. But this one was just it was so packed and it was so busy.
Yeah.
And I did good. I don't know. Let's just say, put it this way. I spent about $1,000, but about 400 of it was one buy. Kind of like the last week where it was trains. This week it was airplanes. Remember those airplane ashtrays from the 30s?
Yeah.
So this was just airplanes. I think there's 5 or 6, and one has a broken wing. Most are. I think there's only 4 propellers. The rest are missing their propellers. But they're not lit or anything. They're just the parts. So I thought if I could get a couple $100, So I guess I got $375 wrapped up in that one purchase.
Right.
So I'm kind of looking at if I get 250 bucks per airplane, then it
Yeah.
makes it worth it, right? But I pretty much went as much as I was planning on going with that. Was at 300,
Yeah.
and we'll see how it turns out. But everything else was really good. The rest of the auction was really good. There were some nice surprises in there and everything.
Oh, nice.
Oh, and I missed out on something, buddy. You
Oh
know this
no.
one too. There was a tray. We're at the end and we're going through these trays. And there was a tray, and I wasn't really paying attention. I just, because the trays are good or bad. And if I had one, I would
They
have
are
took
good
it
or
back
bad.
and kind of lollygagged up to the
Yeah.
front again. And all of a sudden he goes, there's a cup of knowledge on this tray.
Oh yeah, the teacup. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go and I see it there, and I'm like, okay. And I see this glass ball on a cushion that's purple, and it kind of looked like one of those fortune telling balls
Crystal
thing.
balls. Yeah.
So I went up to $60, and then the other guy bids up, and I'm like, okay, well, the cup can't be worth that much. I don't know how much that glass ball is worth. So I walk up. He goes, final bid, final bid. And I go, just hang on a second. And he goes, going once, and I'm trying to figure out. And then I see two more cups on that tray and a deck of tarot cards.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, sold. And I'm like, I want it. Because 3 cups of knowledge, they're older. They're very, they're $100. They're $300. That gloss ball I looked up later on, it's around 250. If it's old, I'd have to see it again and kind of really look at it. But I'm assuming it's authentic. Plus tarot cards, which were in an orange pack, but they looked old.
Right. Yeah.
So the tarot cards could be $200-300 or endless. Like who knows, right?
Right.
And there was a couple other things on there as well, which I like. It looked like a crystal egg on a stand. So I don't even know what the other stuff was. It was smaller stuff, probably within that realm of magical stuff, right?
So you didn't see this in the preview.
So we get there 15 minutes early. I wasn't going to get it anyways. I ended up talking to this guy later. I said, "Hey, are you interested in selling those stuff?" Right. I thought I'd maybe double what he did, right? He goes, "Oh, I plan on selling it." Like, oh, okay. He goes, I said, do you sell on eBay? He goes, no, and he said Aberfoyle.
Oh yeah.
So he ends up knowing a lot of people I know. He ends up knowing my uncle. So he gave me a business card and stuff like that. I said, okay, good going. But don't really mean it, but but anyways, yeah, he got a good deal. It's probably a $600 tray, right? Everything on there was probably $600. He got it for all in under $100.
So when you said you were there 15 minutes early, you mean 50?
Yes. Sorry. So we got there and the place was packed, dude. It was packed.
Right.
And we got there. Well, we got there, say 20 minutes early, but they started 15 minutes earlier. So by the time we got their number, they were already going. So we didn't get a chance to look over everything. And we were there early.
They started early.
They started 15 minutes early.
Oh, that's weird.
I think it was just there was so much stuff, and I've never seen it this busy. This is the busiest I've seen it.
Huh. Okay. Because I went to an auction this weekend too.
Yeah.
And I'll wait to tell my bit, but it was just as packed. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And there's no parking. People are parking on the road. There's nowhere to sit. Everyone's barely somewhere to stand. It was the same thing.
Yeah. It was, and people had no problem spending money, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
They were spending crazy money there.
Yeah.
A lot of things I normally would have got for $5 or something. Like it was all going crazy.
Yep.
So, yeah, that doesn't mean there wasn't crumbs for me to pick up that I was really happy with. Like I got a lot of things. So I bought a box of toys for $10. And in the box of toys were two wooden, they're Nutsu. Netsu. They're Japanese carvings.
Yeah, you see out of ivory, but these are the wood.
These are the wooden ones,
Okay.
and I've sold them before.
Yeah.
Um, so anyways, so I put the RAM. I put for I think I put $75 on it. And then there was a nice cat and dog, very cute. Steph loved it. Almost
You
she
almost
almost
lost
kept it.
it. Yeah.
Almost lost it. But anyway, so I put that one at 50, 45 or 40, let me $50, let's say. So I listed those two today.
Yeah.
And I just got some really, really good stuff out of that lot, which I was surprised. And then there was other stuff there. So I ended up spending $1,000 still, but a lot of it is $5 and $10, right? So I can't complain. But there was a lot of stuff that I would have liked that just went too high, or I didn't see 3 cups of knowledge like that one. That sucks.
Yeah.
But I probably would have went. I probably would have went
maybe it was
200.
damaged. You don't know because you didn't have a chance to look during the preview.
Well, I glanced at the stuff like sort
Like
of after, because
right.
he was
Oh,
over
okay.
where I was packing. So like, could have been broken pre-buy, yes, but was it broken? No, it looked really good,
Okay.
right?
With
I was
teacups, I
actually
find you had
because
to really look. Yeah.
his stuff is more in the oddities. Like, this is perfect for the stuff that he sells.
Oh, okay.
So I was kind of questioning on him about the fortune telling ball, or whatever it would have been really called, the crystal ball. He says he thinks it's authentic and old, mainly because it comes on that pad and just the way it looked. But I wouldn't know what a crystal ball looks like. It was actually much smaller than I would ever imagined. I thought they were
Well,
like
they're
Wizard
expensive.
of
I
Oz
have one.
size.
I have one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, and I bought for myself.
Yeah.
And it's a crystal ball, and it's pretty small because it's one of those things that the bigger it is, the exponential the price can go.
It was
So,
almost like a shot put size.
oh, that's pretty big.
Oh, is it?
Well,
Like a softball.
yeah, that's pretty big to me. Mine is more like a huge marble.
Oh no, this was definitely like a softball type.
Okay.
But I saw the one on a Wizard of Oz, and they look almost like they look like a fishbowl.
Well, they weren't crystal, that's for sure. Then they were just glass. Yeah. It depends. I don't know,
Yeah.
like I'm an expert on crystal balls, but mine's literally crystal,
Oh,
right? A rock, as
yeah.
opposed to glass. So
Yeah. So maybe that's what that small one was. Maybe I thought it looked like it more of an egg, but maybe it was a smaller ball version, but it was on a stand,
yeah,
like a little egg, kind of like to me. It looked kind of like one of those egg holders with a crystal ball on it, but
yeah.
maybe it was an actual crystal ball, not an egg crystal or something. I don't know. Honestly, it's out of my knowledge, but it's out of my cup of knowledge, Carl.
There you go.
But so anyway, so that's
Yeah.
great. So I had fun there. Sales have been good, decent. I sold something a little funky, little getting away from the toy soldiers. I sold a pair of shoes, Jimmy Choo shoes.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of those?
No.
$100, $100 I got for those.
Oh, good.
Yeah, a manual, some DVDs. I had a bad experience. I sold a book and I couldn't find it.
Oh no, I hate when that happens.
I think I took it to the booth and it sold there.
Yeah.
Because I was doing a lot of different things and have my son take all these stuff. So I didn't, it's not like I would have taken it there. Oh, I listed that one. I got it here. It's like he would have just put it on a shelf, right? But
I've sold stuff I donated like the week before.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh well.
So I did a complete inventory, and I took a
God.
lot of things out of my store that's been around for a while. Or I'm like, well, this will sell for pretty much that price out of the booth. So why am I holding on to it for a year and a half? You know what I mean?
And then having to pack it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to clear out some of this dead inventory, and so I did that. That took pretty much a whole day.
Oh, at least I did that maybe 8 months ago, and it was so worth it.
Yeah,
Because there was a lot
I'm
of
glad
stuff
I
that
did
was
it.
honestly, that was never going to sell.
So I'll tell you what I did find. I found a couple items that I could not find that were still listed for whatever reason, I don't know, and they were all books, but they were things I listed a long time ago. So maybe two or three, maybe two of those. But I also found a lot of stuff that was not listed.
Oh yeah, when I did that inventory purge, it started with me. Whenever I get a bin, I made sure that whatever's in the bin was actually listed, and I was finding like 10 to 20% in the bin was not listed, and definitely had been listed. So eBay was dropping listings somehow.
Yeah, I have a Commodore 64, just the keyboard. Well, I guess that was everything, but the keyboard part of it with the cables, and I couldn't figure out why that thing hasn't been selling. Well,
Well, you
now
found
I
out
know.
why.
Yep. And there
Yeah.
was a few other things in there as well. So I'll relist some of the items, but most of them I'm just taking to the booth. So I probably dropped about 120 items roughly
Yeah.
in that range. So 150 maybe, but I think probably closer to 120. So we'll see how that goes. I'm glad I did it though, just for peace of mind, right? I needed to know that that stuff was there. After that book happened, I'm like, and not only that, but I did find like a couple books that I couldn't find that were listed too, right? So that's
Yeah.
dangerous.
So save you from future, because they will ding you for that eventually.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't like it when that happens.
And now I went to a preview on another auction that's going to end tonight, but this show will air Friday, so I've already done it. But I was glad I went to that because there were some items there that I didn't realize were as good as they were, and it was a lot of old vintage stuff. So whether I'll get it or not, and another reason I was glad I went is because a, I saw two boxes full of these. They're the glass lids for canning jars,
Oh yeah.
and I saw three of them with dots, and to me that's a beaver jar, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! I could sell those for $60 a pop, $60 a piece, right? So I thought I got to go see how many are there. I'm already at $30, so somebody else is thinking the same thing. So I get there, they weren't beaver jars, lids.
No.
They were other things, and I'm like, I honestly thought that only the beaver jars had that dot. So I
Right.
was going to look to see if they were flat because remember before I had that oval, like it was rounded, and I was told that that's not real. That's not a beaver jar. That's something else.
Okay.
So all these were the rounded tops. So I'm like, now I'm like, please outbid me, somebody. I don't want to. But if I didn't go, I could have went to $100 easily on that, right? Because I
Yeah.
see three. There's got to be more.
So this is
And
an online auction with a you can go and look at the stuff?
yeah, they always have a preview.
Oh, okay.
It's usually the night before the last day.
Oh, okay.
So today's the last day. So
I don't
yesterday.
think I've ever done that. But maybe just the situation never came up where that was
I've never done it except for the time that I went to get the books, and I was at the place for the books for a different reason.
right. So you're there
Uh,
anyways. Yeah.
and I was really glad that I went through the house. And then I saw this, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to slip out there and just go through the house. And I was really glad I did. I also found a box of toys in a wooden box. There's two of them, but one of them has two red lines in it,
Ooh.
and they're in the bottom, and it just looks like junky old toys, like plushes and
I've
shit.
always I always said before my favorite are the bad pictures where they don't even show the good stuff in the
Yeah,
picture.
it's
So
just a
when is
top
this auction?
photo
When's
of
this
the
auction? When's this auction?
yeah.
Where? Where is it?
Dude, it's gonna cost you more to drive down here and back than it will to sell those things. But yeah. Um so I get there,
Yeah.
and one of the best things of the house were these cabinets. So this guy in the 1920s, the family owned, I think it was like a drugstore, but it could have been maybe like a general store, but they had a area for drugs, like pharmaceuticals. And which is, I guess, the rich man's drug. The other ones are no. I'm
Yeah.
okay. But so, anyways, they have a bunch of old medicine bottles with the paper labels and stuff. But the
Yeah.
best thing was what these things were in, and it was a large cabinet from the store. They
Yeah.
brought it into the house and secured it to the wall with just screws. And it's from the 1920s. It's a general store. Like, this thing is amazing. So I said, "Why isn't that for sale?" She goes, "Oh, we can't. It's attached to the wall. We don't sell anything that's attached to the wall." I said,
Yeah.
"I can take that off the wall. I'll bring my drill. It'll be off in 2 minutes,
It's
right?"
a real estate thing. Yeah. Anything
So,
attached to the walls are supposed to be going with the house.
well, this is a the house
Like,
isn't up for sale. This is
okay.
a auction. The family, the person that's passed away that lived there, and the family has asked this auction company to come and auction the stuff.
Right.
So I'm like, give if you want to call the well, actually, what I said is the owner here today? And she's like, no. And I said, okay, well, I don't want to overstep you. I want to go through you because I deal with them. They're so super friendly. And I said, but I'd be interested in that. She goes, well, let me give the owner a call. I got it for $100, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, I go pick it up. I can try to pick it up on Saturday when I go get my other stuff, but we have arranged with the owner to be there on the Tuesday to pick it up. So she goes, if you come later in the day, like the person running the auction, she goes, we could probably have it off then. But the owner, technically, the owner said that she would be there on the Tuesday. So,
Okay. Cool.
like,
That's awesome.
dude, these are super super nice, like
Yeah.
crazy crazy nice. So
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's really
yeah.
different.
So anyways, yeah, there's a lot of really neat stuff in there. We'll see if I get it. Um Things have been selling at the booth too, dude. Like, it's just gone insane. Some guy came in and bought six of my I had glass inserts for bubblegum machines. If you
Oh
remember
yeah.
back, I paid like
I remember
$10.
those. Yeah. Yeah.
I paid $10 for all the bubblegum machine parts. Just because they had some dust on them doesn't make them bad, but I guess people don't want to clean them. But anyway, and then remember, I had paid about $30 for all the gumball machine prizes.
Right.
And now I've bagged and sold the prizes off, and now I had the bubblegum gum machines in my booth. So one guy, I had $60 a piece. There were six of them. So I went to $45 a piece, and he paid cash. Plus, he bought another bubblegum machine in my booth, and he wants me to take pictures of the rest of the stuff because I have 3 or 4 bubblegum machines in the garage, and I just have to dig for them. And I have a bunch of parts, and they all came from the same estate. So he wants pictures of those, and they'll come buy those.
Sweet.
Yeah. So and plus other things like, just, I don't know, a lot of books, a lot of VHS is still selling. Uh, I don't know. Does it really? I sold a display showcase for $60. Uh, Train hat for 25, but just a lot of different things. It was a good weekend, and that really topped it off. I don't think there was anything like super fantastic outside of the $60 other than the gumball machines, but there was a
Yeah.
lot of 25, 15, 10, $5 sales, which completely add up, like comic books and DVDs and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, sweet.
So yeah, everything was pretty good. Like, I can't complain. Like, it's all moving pretty good, and if I get to keep buying stuff, I'm happy, right? So,
Keep the cycle going.
all right, buddy. So what's going on with you? How was your week?
So I went to an auction as well, on live action only, or live auction only, and it was freaking nuts. Like, I get there for the preview because I like to look at all the stuff first, and it was already full parking lot at that point, and nowhere to stand. And as that hour preview kind of came in, it just got busier and busier, and like it got to the point where I had to find a spot to stand, and there was a lot of good stuff at this auction.
Oh, really?
It's too good.
Yeah,
It was too good because nothing was going cheap.
yeah,
And I'm not saying it wasn't worth it. Like auctioneers always say things, but there was some genuine antiques there,
Yeah.
like a bunch of tea caddies, original like 19th century tea caddies, and like um, you know, statues and
Can I ask the tea caddies? I haven't dealt with them for a long time. What are they going for now? Are they still in the 100 to plus range or?
I didn't wait.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm standing there, and I bought a couple of things but nothing was going for my normal $5 to $10.
Okay.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't mind crowds, but it was so crowded it was bugging me. But not only that, is there's a lot like when I am at the auction, it takes a long time, and I get tired standing. I don't like
Yeah.
standing,
Yeah.
and I was thinking when I'm standing there, it's like even if this stuff comes up, it's not going to go for 5 to 10. It's going to go for 40 to 50. And I don't know enough about this stuff
Yeah.
to know which is the $200 pieces and which are the $20 pieces. And in there, this is all from one estate.
Okay.
Not someone hadn't passed, but I guess they donated all their stuff. And there were like amongst the tea caddies in the boxes, right, was brand new stuff too. And it didn't look old, but it was all mixed together, right? And I'm standing there, everything's going high, it's crowded, I can't sit, I have nowhere for the stuff I bought, nothing's going cheap. And it's like, I'm just kind of wasting my time here because I'm not going to have that opportunity to gamble really.
Yeah.
Because very few things are going to go that cheap. There's a lot of experts here. There were professionals there too, like professionals. Like there was a Hudson Bay blanket. What are they called? Pins? What are the little pips? Maybe it's pips. You know the little black marks on the Hudson Bay blankets to show how
Okay.
long they were?
So it was like okay. So it was like a red one.
No, it was the multicolored one. It had 7
Okay.
or 8 pips though. It went for $650 just for the blanket.
$650.
Yeah, plus of course the premium and the taxes.
That seems high to me.
It was
Oh,
huge.
it was a big one.
It was big, yeah.
So it was like maybe rare.
That's what the auctioneer said. He had never seen a blanket like that of that size before.
Okay. There are one offs, right?
So, anyways, just from the way he dressed, he kind of like he had a blazer on and all that stuff going down. Like those
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's a lot of that. A lot of people with money, and it's like I know there were good deals there. And my friend, who I do the commissioning with in the booth, he stayed. And he bought a bunch of stuff like lures and things like that. And he says he's going to do really well with the lures.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah,
Hudson Bay's going out of business, right?
it's gone. Yeah.
So
right now the stuff is hot.
So maybe that's why, because they just went. They just ended, right? Like
Yep.
recently, within the last month.
I once sold Hudson Bay cards for I think $40 or something crazy, like just plain cards. Nothing special about them. So yeah, Hudson Bay is definitely a bolo
right now.
But it was before though as well. I would say it's not a brand new thing. It's just super bolo now.
Okay. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I left because it's like I was just so frustrated. Not frustrated in a bad way, just more like this is not the auction for me. Because even if, like I said, there were a lot of glass and vases and like some of it was good, but like I said, I can spend $30 or $40 on something I don't know. So, anywho, so I left. I did buy a tray lot of toys and some linens but nothing really to rock my world kind of things. The other thing that happened was Dawn, our listener Dawn, called me out on Two Dogs Dig Show for not listing last week. So I actually listed all my Funko Pops I bought. Like I bought a huge amount of Funko Pops. So I listed all of those. And I sold one for 30 American. So that was good. So I listed a bunch of crap. And then for the booth on Sunday, the guy just commissioning with me showed up and hung out, and that was great. And it was actually our best Sunday ever. Yeah.
Nice.
But you know what? I was watching friend of the show, Jamie from Thrift on Fire, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he was talking about his booth in his last video. Did you see this video?
I didn't see his last. Like, is it recent?
Yeah, yeah, just
Okay, no, I
yesterday or
didn't
the day
see it.
before.
Okay,
So he's talking about like the value, like not to spoil his
sure.
episode, but like
Yeah,
he talks
fun
about
to
the
watch.
money behind the booth, right? And Too Long Didn't Watch was he says it's more like it's not really a replacement for the money he lost on Etsy. I won't go into that, but it's more of a hobby kind of thing. He said in the end, and so I did my math for 7 months. So what I did is I took the gross. I think it was around. Don't quote me on this, but it was around 3,500 or something.
Yeah,
Uh, all the rents, and for cost of goods is really hard because I just throw stuff in there. I track cost of goods, like how much I pay for stuff,
yeah,
but I can't do it on an individual level, right? So I just said whatever I sold, 25% was whatever I paid for the item, which is just a guess, which is in some cases is too much, in some cases might be a little too low, right?
yeah.
For six, for no, sorry, September, October, November, December, for January, February, March. So 7 months, I netted $500.
Yeah. See, I do that in a day sometimes. Like most weekends is a day, like a Saturday or Sunday.
Yep, yep, $500, which would have been like now would be a good week on eBay for me, but would have been like a bad week on eBay not that long ago for me.
Yeah.
And that's showing up every Sunday, like the 10 hours. This is not including like wear on my vehicle. This is not including like my cost of my time or
Yeah.
anything. So, and I wasn't surprised, to be honest. Like I did put a post on Jamie's video where like this is my guess, but I would say 50% of the people are probably breaking even. 25% of the people are losing money there.
Yep.
And I said the other 25%, like 15% are just doing slightly better than breaking even, and then 10% are actually doing well. That's how I feel. I don't know, but
Yeah. I mean, you're probably not too far off. I know there's a lot. I'm going to say this, and I'll say this 1,000 times. So this will be my fourth place that I've been at. And
yeah,
I have crossed over. I've been at two places at the same time, but now I have three booths here. So it's definitely location. Although I didn't do bad in the other ones, but they were very small. Like the one place was like a cabinet, like a shelf. It was bigger than those glass cabinets, but maybe by two or two and a half wide. But it was the full cabinet.
yeah.
That was at one place, and I did okay for the size of the booth. But it didn't take a lot of my time because it wasn't a big booth, right? So I guess to break it all down to the final, like where I am now is fantastic. It's the best I've ever dealt with it. So you can't just generalize it like that for everybody.
Oh,
And I
I'm talking
think,
about where I am. Yeah,
yeah, because well, and Jamie too, right?
yeah. Jamie too. Like I don't know Jamie's situation.
So
I was really
so
referring to my situation, but yeah,
right. So for everybody out there that's thinking about a booth, it's one of those things that take time to learn.
yes,
I've been doing it for 10 years, right? So
yes,
it takes time to learn,
yeah.
and you got to really pay attention to it. You can't just let it slide. You got to be mixing it up, working on it. But don't be afraid to go for a bigger booth because you get more bang for your buck. And there's a lot of things in there. But like if you're looking to sell eBay stuff in an antique booth, and it all depends on what you're selling on eBay, that isn't really the goal. In a flea market like yours, it is. But antique booth, you definitely want to have vintage, mid-century, modern. You want to have antique stuff. That's what people are going there for. So in a flea
Yeah,
market setting, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can have modern stuff, right? Right? There's
you
no,
can, and some people do.
yeah,
I don't know how well they do.
yeah.
So my biggest sellers. Can you guess what my biggest seller is for toys? You won't guess, but it's actually
Uh, Smurfs.
Smurfs. You're right.
Well, I know that because you sold them all to one person.
I know. Oh, I sell them all the time. Smurfs,
Yeah,
bloody Smurfs, right?
yeah,
I pulled my listings off eBay because they weren't selling on eBay,
right.
but in the market they sell.
Yeah.
I was actually making more in the market, with this rare exception, than online when it comes to lots.
So
To
let
lot,
me ask
yeah.
you: are you asking the same price at the market as you were online?
A little bit more.
Oh,
It,
very good.
now, there's an
Very good.
asterisk there. Okay, I'm
Okay.
asking more in terms of, like, I would put them in lots on eBay. So if you actually divide the lot by the number of Smurfs,
Right.
it's actually probably cheaper on eBay.
Yeah.
But
Still. Yeah.
that,
Still
I'm
counts in
asking.
my mind. If you're getting more, you're getting more. Right.
Yeah, or about the same, really. When whatever, it doesn't matter. They're selling on eBay. I mean, on in the booth, and they're not selling. There's
On eBay.
collectors for Smurfs. I've met at least 3 or 4 collectors of Smurfs now,
Yep.
right? So, and records. Records are a big seller.
Records are a big seller for
Yeah,
sure.
none of those are mine. Those are all my friends. So, but I'm actually going to pick some up from him today because he's coming into the booth more often. So
Yeah.
he's going to come in next weekend. And he came in the previous weekend, and because he just enjoys it.
Yeah.
Because for him, it doesn't make any sense either, driving
Right.
all the way down there
Yeah.
to hang out. But he
Yeah.
enjoys the interaction. He enjoys the selling aspect of it, right?
Well, I'm a little sensitive when it comes to the booth talk because I really think if people look at it the right way, the booth can do very well for them. And I'm also going to say that there's more than just what. So I do well, like I'm doing well. I'm very happy with my return on investment in my booth. 100% hands down. Could I just do the booth? No, no question. I've always said that, Carl. However, with the way I pick and the sources I've made, I've done it gives me a little bit of credibility, maybe to a degree, but it also introduces me to a lot of people. You know what I mean? That have set me up with sourcing.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I would say 90% of my private picks was because I'm at the booth. So I know Ben set me up on a couple, but a lot of stuff I pick also helped me because I could take it to the booth. So my picking strategy and my sourcing abilities, it all revolves around the booth.
Yeah.
And it's still bringing good money, but to me it's a whole reselling experience and the booth is a very big part of that. Could I just sell on eBay? We've had this discussion before. Yes. Could I just sell at the booth? No. Not full time. Not
It'd be very difficult.
right.
Yeah.
In the booth,
I
I don't
think
know.
the
It's
I think the
I could
difference.
I don't want to digress it into just a booth talk, but I do want to just put in that the booth to me is important, and I know it doesn't work for everybody, but you have to you have to treat it like it's an important aspect. Like
It's a part of it. It's a
it's a part
supplement.
of it. Like
Yeah.
Commonwealth Picker. I remember he came on the Sunday night show in a comments and he was saying how he does so much better on eBay than his booth. And I'm like, well, think about what you're putting online for sale on eBay and what you're putting in your booth. Like my dollar per average sale on eBay is probably around $80. Sometimes it's got to 140 average per item. In the booth, it's about $20.
Yeah.
It
It's
might
not the
be it
same
might be
thing.
between 15 and $20 on
Yeah.
average.
Yeah. It's different for sure.
It's
Yeah.
different. But am I going to buy an entire VHS collection or DVD collection, cherry pick the horror movies, and then from that cherry pick what I can sell online for 100, 200, $400? Well, the booth allows me to do that because now I have a place to sell that, make some money, and I cherry pick the gravy. You know what I mean? So the whole thing becomes valuable to me as opposed to one VHS tape. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no. Jamie was talking about that too, and I agree with that too. Is like the booth allows you to sell that extra stuff, right? I
Yeah.
think the danger is when you think you're going to get close to eBay prices in the booth, because in my experience, in general, no. Now, when it comes to large stuff, the answer might actually be yes, because no
So,
one wants to ship that stuff, right? So,
uh, how much work would it take? These bubblegum machines, for instance, what a great score. And I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't be able to get that and deal with those if I was just on eBay.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? I could, but it's going to be hard to describe. I just put them in the booth. Now, a guy wants to buy them all. I couldn't have bought that huge anchor. And I'm not just telling one offs, but there's tons of stories like that. Every day, there's stories like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, if you get the right booth, it's going to work. Now, sometimes I question maybe I've gone a little bit too high because it's hard to keep 3 booths full constantly. So am I paying for a small booth that I don't really need? Because can I take those items, cram my other booths, and I have less work to worry about, but I can keep every square footage full. Where sometimes if I'm, busy one week, there can be a lot of empty spaces. You know what I mean?
And you have to, it's like a treadmill, and it keeps going too. It's not like,
Yeah,
because
it keeps
things are
going.
going
For sure.
literally out the door as things you bring things in. It's hard to keep that full, right? Even for me in my little booth, right? It's like I usually take pictures, and it's like, oh, there's tons and tons of like empty spots. And I bring in 2, 3 bins every Sunday, and it's only open once a week.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying all 3 bins of stuff are going out every weekend, but there's just so much you can cram into those things when you get a little more efficient, more than you might think.
And I'm selling probably 300 to 350, maybe some slower months, maybe 250, but I'm selling that many items a month.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, 10 a
So
day almost. Yeah,
so sometimes they're a DVD, but sometimes they're a very large item too, right? So
yeah,
it really does average out. So if you could find that market, and mine's 10 minutes away. You know what I mean? Like it's 10 minutes away, so it makes sense. I'm not driving an hour
yeah. Like
either.
I am. Yeah.
Well, you're forced to, right?
Hmm.
You're
Well,
forced
I
to.
don't have. Yeah, exactly. Like I choose to do this.
Like I'm lucky that I'm as close as I am, but I mean things could change
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
But I'm lucky as to be as close as I am for pure convenience and stuff, right? So I'll have to speak to Jamie and see how it's going. I haven't talked to him for a couple of months now, but maybe we'll have him on the show and see
Well, he
what it is.
talks about
But
you on this latest episode, so you should
oh,
give
I'm
it a
sure
listen.
he
That'll
will.
make you. If anything, that'll make you.
Yeah, that's
Watch
what I
it.
figured. I'm sure. Okay, I figured you were setting me up for that, but no, maybe we should have him on as a guest and just kind of go over what his perception is. Like everybody's going to have a different experience, just simply by being in a different location. But then you're going to have a
Yeah,
different experience based on what you sell, uh, um, how big your booth is. You know what I mean? Where you're
yeah.
selling, all like
He
not
talks about
just
all that
different
stuff.
store,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
in town, in country, like there's all sorts of things, right? Um, so it'd be
The
interesting. I guess we'd still be both in the country. We're really 15 minutes apart, store wise, but um,
he was talking. I'm not going to spoil it just in
yeah,
case, but
yeah, I'll
people should
watch it anyways.
go listen to it, to the audience, and Thrift on Fire. It's on his channel, and he talks about it. It is kind of interesting.
Yep.
The other point I was saying is that I don't think a lot of people will ever do any accounting at all. I don't think most people are even writing down them when they sell something. They just put the money in their pocket, and that's it.
Well, a couple of us, I know, like,
At the flea market, I mean, obviously at the booth, everything's
yeah,
recorded.
that's
So
yeah, it's all recorded at our store,
obviously, yeah.
right?
Otherwise,
Because
they can't take the money. Yeah,
we have that system, and they got to take the money. Actually, we had to sign over that they collect taxes on behalf of us. Um, so what was I going to say? I would say there's definitely one person that does better than me per month,
Yeah.
and her best month was 10 grand
Yeah.
in sales. Like she probably does the best, but she's in there all the time, right? Like she'll start working at 10, she'll show up at 9, fill her booth up. She probably works 3 or 4 days a week. You know what I mean? And her
Yeah.
stuff is reasonably priced. She's one of my favorite booths to go to buy stuff to resell online because she buys it in bulk. She gets it dirt cheap. She makes her markup what she needs. If it's $100 on eBay, she might put it in for 30, $40. She doesn't care. She's paid $5 for it. Get the 30,
Yeah.
40, it's out the door, and move on.
Those are the popular guys at the flea market too.
Right?
They
And
haven't.
those are the guys that are making the money because they just turn that stuff over, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And they don't
Um,
care that you made $50 on their $50 buy off of them, right? They don't.
yeah, they don't care.
They don't care.
They're happy. They want you to come back.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting. And that's the opportunities for me being there live too. I've gotten quite a few of those opportunities. I haven't really taken advantage of them yet, but the when the weather turns, it's funny. Every Sunday the weather is not being the best. It was like a soup last Sunday. All the parking lot was just pure mud. This Tuesday, which like I thought about going to Lachute, is when we got hit by this snowstorm. So I'm sure they didn't have Lachute going either. I sold a bunch of Funko Pops to another booth owner. So I got rid of them a bunch of that way, and he was happy. So there's all that too. And yeah, no, it's good. But the money wise, for me, I wasn't shocked by only netting 500, and not even including like the costs I put into, buying display units and stuff either. That's, so
yeah,
really,
but I sell those too, right? Like,
well, I'm talking shelving, right? Or tables or
yeah,
like
like
nothing.
I this shelving I was telling you about from the general store, I want to put it in the booth, but at the same time, I think I'm gonna probably keep it. I think I'm gonna bring it here,
Yeah.
dude. It looks so good. Like it looks so good,
Yeah.
and I think if I was to sell it, I'd probably put like $1,200 on it because it's a general store item. I got pictures. I'll show you. I'll show you after the show.
Yeah.
But anyway, but shelving, you can sell that shelving too, right? Display cases. I just sold a display case for $60 that I got for nothing, right? Because
Right.
I was done using it. I got clothing now, so that display case had to come out so the clothing rack could go in, and it sold. It's been there 2 weeks, and someone came in and bought it. So
Nice.
I actually had $80 on it, but Steph said the person is a regular buyer, so she gave it to them for $60. And I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I wanted it out of there, so that's good. But
My friend gave me a hard time though
why?
about one thing. I have these magazines, and no one's bought these magazines.
Yeah,
And the price came off. I think I was asking $4 each, and he offered 20 for all 10. And I said, no, I
yeah.
want 25. And the guy walked away.
You got to sell it.
I know, but I want all the money. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But yes, and he was also like, instead of like, he's there, he's listening, right? And he's giving me advice. And he says, instead of lowering the price, make sure you're saying things like, instead of each one like there, I'm asking 5 and dropping it to 3. He says, say 4 for that amount.
Yeah,
Don't drop it per item. Make it. And I already knew this, but it's interesting because he's listening, and when you're talking, you don't even realize what you're doing, right? So
yeah.
having that other opinion too. The other nice thing is like I get to see how he deals with customers and stuff as well. So no, it's good.
Yeah, it would have been so gone out of my booth.
I know.
Right? Case in point, I had all those trained ones. I had, what did I have? Like $5 a piece on them. But I had, I don't know. I think I had 100 magazines. Like they were just little booklets, right? And the guy came in and offered me $1 a piece if he bought them all. I said, sure. Like, I don't know. I probably paid $20 for everything. He's giving me $100. It's gone, man. It's gone. Right? Like, see you later. Now, if those things were selling like hotcakes, total different story, right? If I can't keep those in, I got a bunch at home. it's a different story then. Like these are selling good. It's like my toy soldiers. They're selling so good, I don't really need to take percentages off. That's a different story. But if they're sitting around, kicking around, dude,
Yeah, no one's bought one of these damn magazines yet.
yeah. So that's a different story. It's gone, right?
And it's taking up lots of room too. They're big
Yeah,
magazines.
yeah. These the train things were sitting around for a long time too. So um
It's just funny.
and I figured, okay, he's
Oh,
probably going to
oh,
go try selling them online. It's not my thing to sell online.
right.
That's why I brought them in the booth. But I think they were going for around $11 on average a piece online. So for him to get them for $1, he's going to go sell them online. It's not my thing to sell online. I got I got toy soldiers, all sorts of crap here. So I just put them in the booth, right?
Yeah.
But I thought train collectors would like them because it came from a train collector of like miniature trains that I got last year at a yard sale. So, so anyway, but yeah, I think I would have sold them for $20, dude.
Oh well. It's always
But,
next Sunday.
yeah, and I think I listen to you, Carl, when I do these shows and I listen to it while I'm driving. It's a whole different experience. And you really are like, I think eBay sellers who started like this are like this, like you, where they want the maximum amount for items.
Yeah, because there's a different incentive on eBay. And we
Yeah,
talked about this before I even had the booth. And I said, for me, the inventory space they take up at home on eBay is completely insignificant.
right.
It is not a factor. It doesn't matter if it's being there for 1 month, 8 months, 2 years. The only
It
thing with
may
that,
cost you a relationship, but it won't cost you money.
yeah, well, there's that too.
I'm just kidding.
I know what you're saying, but also like at home, you don't have bigger stuff for eBay either, right?
Yeah,
So it doesn't take up that much room. The only thing is your capital invested, but even that, it's not that much, right? Where when you're in the booth, it takes up physical space. Something else can't be there because there's something in the way, where you don't have that with eBay, right? But the other huge difference with eBay is it's much easier to see what sells and for how much. It's less of a mystery because when I take something into the booth, I can look at eBay solds, right? And I can get an estimate of how much it sells on eBay, but not in the booth.
right.
It's not the same thing completely. It will be related to it, right?
Yeah,
So it's not, that's why I'm like that. Because on eBay, I don't even have best offer on. I just like pay my money or get the hell out. And that's
yeah,
the way I like it, right?
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't waste time negotiating. I don't do any of that, which I never really enjoyed in the first place.
yeah,
And I get, but the thing is, Scott, I get those high values on eBay
yeah,
without any of that stuff.
yeah,
But in the booth, you never know. Are you going to get the person who just pays and doesn't even say anything? Or are you going to get the person who wants it for like half price? You have all that factors involved as well. It's a bit like on eBay, I don't price things slightly higher to anticipate a discount request. When in the booth, I have to, well, I should put a little higher to anticipate the discount request. So it is different, you know? And you're taking the skills from one and it doesn't quite equate to the other one. So that's why.
And for the most part, how our booth works, just to let you know, the guy that got that deal on those train magazines, he actually messaged me on eBay.
Okay.
So I had to tell him that there's no crossover. eBay is strictly eBay. I cannot discuss other sales on eBay. But if you went to the store or so, I don't know. I left him some sort
Ooh,
of vague message.
yeah.
So he went back to the store because they were selling out of the store. They weren't selling out of eBay. Um, so anyways,
Well, he wasn't when he contacted you on eBay. He wasn't contacting you about items you had on eBay.
no,
No, that well, that's it. That's just to be clear on that. That's the difference, right? Like,
yeah.
you know,
So, but I still couldn't do that transaction over eBay. Like I had to kind of
I
like
think, I
you
think,
go.
I,
I think I say you go back to the store and
Yeah.
they'll give you my contact info or something.
Now, for eBay, don't quote me on this, but I think once you've done your transaction, you're allowed to talk to people after
Oh,
for
I don't
future
know.
transactions, but don't quote me on that because they just want to make sure that the initial transaction is done through eBay for the item you listed.
Yeah.
But I think you're allowed to talk to people after because then it's nothing to do with eBay. You're not doing more transactions through the eBay. You're not taking that eBay transaction off, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But I think I looked it up once because it didn't really make sense to me otherwise. Because it's like if you met someone in the antique booth and you sold something out of the antique booth, well, they want you to go through the antique booth, but they can't stop you from ever talking to that person outside of that sale that they helped facilitate. Right? That's
Right.
the difference.
Well, this guy, I guess, I don't know if you listen to the show or what, but so somehow, he went back to the store. They called me, excuse me, and they called me, and I said yes to the deal,
Right.
which I was going to anyways, but I just didn't want the communication to come across on eBay. But normally they only get 10% off. If Steph's working, I'll get a phone call, or she'll make that call on her own, which normally she calls me if it's more than 10%. And very, very rarely will they call me for a lower than 10% price. But like say I got 500 on something and somebody's offering like 400 or 350, where it's like some of the lady, like most of the ladies working there will know, well, you know what, Scott's probably doing okay at 350 and he might take it. So they'll call anyways, and maybe it'll go 375. That's it. You know what I mean? But very rarely do I get that call.
And 10% is an easy 10%. Math thing to do, right? Like for them, like if figuring out what 10% of something is, you're not going to probably make a mistake. That's the big difference.
For sure. But they don't want to you don't want to train the client, the customer, to expect you to call the vendor every 5 minutes to get lower prices.
No one wants
we don't
that.
normally do that. If it's a great big purchase, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, you really don't want to train that customer to be asking 20% off or 10% off all the time either, right? So, like,
it is a funny thing
road to go down, right?
It is a funny thing at the booth because it's like, oh, this person didn't ask for a discount, and I'm charging full price, and they're a great person, and the other person who is asking for a big discount, who I don't like, gets money off. And all I think is it is true what they say: you don't get what you don't ask for.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. But it's
part of humanity, I guess, right?
It's not that I'm trying to. I don't know. I'm not trying to say that the booth and your flea market is a little bit different, so I can't really comment too much on that, but I have a little sensitive spot for the booth, so I'm going to stick up for it. I think they can be good. I know they get a lot of rap for expense and all that, and I think you just got to try to find a spot that's not overly expensive.
Yeah.
Which I think we're right in the sweet spot. We're definitely not cheap, but I don't think we're over expensed either. You know what I mean? I don't think they charge over amount. It's probably just it's right for them and it's right for us and it's right there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because I wouldn't want to be spending more, right?
Really?
Like, yeah, because then if it gets to a point where it doesn't make sense, then I'm going to have to stop doing it. But if they make it make sense for me and they're happy and they're making money, then I think it's good for everybody. So,
yeah,
because it doesn't make sense on the other hand, where the owner, we got 10 people in line. Why am I charging so little? I can't, sometimes there's more than just money. It's consistent vendors. It's good vendors. You want to keep them,
Yeah.
You don't want to just keep pushing your vendors through like product. You want to keep that good vendor there.
Well, they get a percentage of the sales, so they want high sales, right?
And they want high sales.
They don't want just the rent.
That's right. That's
otherwise just going to storage business.
Yeah.
Without any hassle. of all the
Which,
vendors.
who knows? They probably make more,
They
dude.
probably would
Honestly,
make more.
like you could really divide that up into some really good
Storage
storage units,
units. Yeah.
right? So, but anyway, don't give them any ideas, right? But uh, no, I like to hear other people's experiences with flea markets and antique booths. Um, but to me, it's an invaluable thing, not only for the sales, which are doing well, but the contacts and the learning. I've learned so much. I think you can kind of learn a lot just by walking through antique booths alone. Just
Oh
do
God, I
that
got
alone.
every weekend I learn for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, no.
yeah. So anyway, I kind of ramble on like that, but I do have a sensitive spot for for antique booths because they play such an important part, and that's where I started too, Carl. Like you guys started online, right?
Yeah.
So I started at the antique booth. So I don't
I'm
know.
curious, like how it's going to go for Two Dog Steaks as well with theirs.
Yeah,
And
that's how are they doing with theirs?
well, they just started. They don't
Yeah.
even have inventory in it yet.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Well, maybe 6 months down the road, we'll have to have one of them on or both of them on,
yeah,
and
that'll be good. I
yeah,
think
see how they're doing.
they've done it before, so they have experience. So I'm jealous too because they got two huge shelving units for free that was left behind by other vendors. So that was really good. That must be nice. Like 8 foot tall bookshelves
Yeah,
with tons of spots to put stuff. So
yeah,
thank you for
that
them.
definitely helps. Like, I don't mind spending money on it. I'm always changing them up, but I'm always selling them too, right? Like,
Yeah.
um,
This place they're at too looks more like not like an old building like you have. It's more like I guess a warehouse in a way, But I'll have to look again. Anyways, yeah, no, we'll see how it goes with them too. But like back to what I was saying with Jamie, it was just interesting because he was saying a lot of things I kind of felt too. I think he's saying a lot. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there.
yeah,
If people want to learn more, go watch Thrift on Fire and
Thrift on Fire YouTube.
yeah,
He also does a talk show with that John guy from out east.
yep,
A to Z, but A is spelled EH.
yeah,
Canada A.
yeah.
Like, it's a good show, eh?
That's right, eh?
A to Z reselling.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else this week, Carl?
Nope, that's about it.
That's about it. You just never. This is what I love about this. We don't know what's going to happen from day to day, let alone week to week. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
All of
always
a
find
sudden, you
something to
get a.
bitch about.
What's that?
I always find something to bitch about.
It always, it's just you just never know when that phone's gonna ring, and you're gonna be on a pick of a lifetime. You just never know, right? So, so I think that's about it. I think I've talked about everything that. I did find in my death pile 2 shirts that I paid. They still had the price tag on it. Paid $5 each for, and maybe this should be my bolo this week. I don't know if it's much of a bolo.
SC.
Stone Cold.
Oh, okay. Are they vintage?
They are 89 and 88.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. This Stone Cold Austin, yeah, from wrestling. Cool.
So I'm going to try 200 on this one and about 150 on this one.
Oh wow.
They're t-shirts. They're vintage shirts
I have one
from
vintage
wrestling.
from wrestling. I do have one vintage shirt at the booth for 160, but the rest are all just modern ones. But they sell $20 each.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
this one was the same from the same place,
Yeah.
and this one's not worth much. It's about $40 online, but there's a lot of them. So I'll probably put 20, 25 and try it in the booth.
Yeah, $20. They move a bit by bit. They don't take up a lot of room. T-shirts, so that's kind of good too. Oh, a troll doll. Yeah, that
So
looks Norwegian though.
this is German. It says
Is it
German
German?
right on the tag.
Oh.
Do you know how much these are going for?
Yeah, I do.
How much?
150.
Really? Not
Oh,
this
how
one.
much? Oh,
This one's about 60, but they have gone to 100 and they have gone a little bit lower. But there are some in there that do bring better money, right? Like a rare one.
yeah.
Like someone has this one. I think they sold it for I don't know, 60 or 70 bucks, and they had it listed as rare. But then you go on there and you see three other ones. So I can't put rare when there's other
I
ones for
I
sale. What's that?
I never put rare on stuff. I don't like doing that, but that's just
Yeah,
me.
very rarely. Very,
Yeah,
very rarely do I
rare. Do
put
you put
rare.
rare? Yeah, I like
But
putting common. This is common, easy to find.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, some of them do get way up there. I
Oh
was
yeah,
surprised.
that's why I was guessing a little higher. Like some of
Yeah.
the Noelle likes those things, eh?
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she has a
They're
lot.
they're like a bobblehead.
Oh, that one's a bobblehead. Okay, the ones I was thinking are not bobbleheads; they're just dolls.
Yeah, this
Like
one.
there's the trolls, the modern trolls, but I'm talking about like the Norwegian handcrafted ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Like if it's flat on the surface, it works. There it goes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's more not quite what I was thinking it was, but
Um, so I bought a toy lot with some plush, including two Beanie Babies. Uh, there was some plush in there, and there was some other toys at the auction. I paid $10, and that was in there.
oh, nice.
There was also a Bradford Exchange. It was the witch from Wizard of Oz. So it broke. Two fingers are broken off, but they were still in the box. So I glued them back on. But that sucker goes for $100, like in mint, like in very good condition. It goes for
Mm,
$100 online.
I
So
believe
I'm
it.
gonna put $20, and I'll just tell them that the fingers were repaired. So that was good. Like
Yeah,
the
and the
little
box
surprises like that is what I
the
like
box
about auctions.
box lots are funny. I picked up a box lot. There's 1930s doll in it. There was like a random chess piece that I might be able to sell for $10 online
Yeah,
if you need a replacement. Like just things like that. But you never know, right? Sometimes there can be something amazing in there. Uh,
for sure. Well, Carl, what time is it now? And I'll tell you why I'm bringing this up.
it's Bolo of the week. Are
Okay.
you sound ready to go,
Well, it's because in that box with those toys of that bobblehead
right?
was my
Is
is my bolo.
is your Bolo of the week?
Is
Yeah,
my
okay.
bolo.
What's your Bolo then?
Uh
Brought to you by
nuts,
Unimac.
nuts, soup, nut soup,
I'm not falling for it.
nut soup, nut
Oh,
soup.
Netsu, right?
Okay, so my bolo of the week. Do
Hmm.
you want me to start first? Or
Well,
do you
yeah,
want?
we're halfway into it now.
Okay, I figured so. I kind of just took over there for a second. Sorry about that. But would be Netsuk, not nut soup, but Netsuk. Netsuke. And in the box were two of them. Now I've sold these before, and sometimes they can be bone, they can be ivory. In my case, this time these were wood. I believe it's boxwood. That's what it appears to be. Now they not necessarily are made of boxwood, I guess. Some people call it boxwood, some people don't.
Right.
But the ones I sold at the booth, I think were bone, but I didn't want to sell them online. So I put them in the booth and I got $60 for it.
Oh, nice.
And this one here, because I had that one, I knew at these two, as soon as I saw them and I saw the holes in the bottom, I'm like, I know what that is. And it also, they were both signed as well. So
It's funny
they're,
because you see these often in box lots. Like I'm looking one from where I'm sitting that I got in a box lot as well
yeah.
because they get thrown in there for some reason.
Well, I don't think people understand what they are. They look like a wood carving or some sort of carving. They
Mm,
almost look a lot of time, they can be confused for resin carvings, right? So what these were just thrown in the toy box. But some of them can get very expensive. I think you're probably looking around 40 to $100 for the most part, but some can get even way more than that. I don't know why they get more than that, but I mean, I put one of mine up for 50 and the other one up for 75, and I'm kind of guessing at the prices, but
yeah.
both of mine were signed and they were in very good shape. So I listened to them this morning and they're not up yet. And sometimes when I do military, it takes 24 hours. And I'm thinking because they're
Really?
Asian, they're worried about ivory
Yes.
because it goes under Asian tech antiquities or something like that is what it that suit goes under.
Well, the ivory laws are really strong.
So I put wood carving in the title.
Yeah.
They are made of wood. They clearly see that, but I think the reason they're not showing right now is available to the public is because they have to go through the same vetting process as military. I can put a military badge, but because it has military, it still has to go through eBay. Like they vet it,
They have to look at it. Wow.
and it usually takes about 24 hours. So I'm going to assume that these are going to come up within the next 24 hours. So, because I
Okay.
just listed them this morning.
I never
However,
experienced that. That's good. Yeah.
one is a puppy, almost looks like a beagle with a kitten, and it's just one piece, but there's two different animals carved into this piece of wood, and the other one is a ram. So I think I said that before, but you got to some are just initialed with a carving in the bottom, and mine had a piece of white material with initial in that material. So I'm going to assume it's just bone. Uh,
It's
I
funny.
have seen I have seen some of them with that, and I've seen others where they just has the engraving right in the wood. So
For the ivory and bone, it can be hard to tell. Like I had actually this last Sunday, I had a piece, a little elephant,
yeah,
and I want to know, is this bone or is this ivory? And I asked 3 people, and I got 2 different responses. So
yeah,
one person thought it was bone, 2 of them thought it was ivory. I thought it originally was bone, but then when you look closer, it actually has the markings of ivory on it. So it can be a little hard to tell for bone and ivory. Wood's different, right?
yeah.
But,
Wood is wood for sure.
yeah.
Um, but I've seen some of these go for 400, 500. I've seen some for 1,000. I don't know what makes them so different. Probably if you can prove, the artist or the era, that probably
Yeah.
makes a difference, like everything else. But I don't know how to do that. Um, but I'm seeing some here for 228, 370, 150, 998 for a female tiger, Tora inlaid eyes. So that's interesting. I didn't realize the Tora inlaid eyes because, as far as I'm concerned, they all have that, and so did mine. So maybe I should have added that to the title. But then I'm seeing a rabbit with the same type of eyes in my mind for $32.79. So, and that's a buy it now. That wasn't an auction. Some of the auctions do get a little cheaper prices, but again, you know, they're at least $30. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might take a while to sell. There's a lot being sold, and there's a lot for sale. So there's a lot of sold comps, but there's a lot of like comps or items out there for sale too. So um, the one I had out of the booth sold very quickly, though. I was surprised it sold at all out of the booth, to be honest. Um, I just didn't know if anybody was going to know what it was, but
Sometimes you don't know. Like I brought in a bunch of Mark's Canadian Heroes figures.
yeah.
Are these going to sell? And they went right away. So just the way it is. Maybe the right person comes along too, right? You never know.
April 1st. So this could be an April Fool's Day purchase. I don't know, but it's a little monkey, and it looks like it might have a little baby monkey with it, but it is like one of the smallest ones I've seen. It does have a baby monkey. It is about about an inch and a half, and it sold for $870 with 20 bids.
Wow.
So what makes one different from the other? I don't know. Maybe they
think
have
that
meaning as well.
these are nice and small too, so it's an easily collectible, easy high variety thing to collect.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So
No, I don't
anything?
have anything to add. No, no. I
No,
think you know.
they're pretty
It,
kind of self-explanatory. You're kind of looking for the two holes in the bottom.
mm-hmm.
From what I understand, they would attach to like some article of clothing, and they would be used as kind of like a button.
Or a button. Okay, I've heard money belts. Like you
Probably
need,
for a belt or something, like an article of clothing or somehow.
yeah.
But it's, I think another string comes across that, and it would
Hmm.
be attached via a string to one end, and then the other end could loop over it or something. I don't really know. I should probably Google that before I talked about it, but
You care about how much they're worth.
that's all I care about. Two holes in the bottom, a little signature, and that
Mm.
sucker is online. But yeah, anyway, there you go. And a lot of times people don't even know what they are, so you never know where they're going to pop up in a
Well, they made a
drawer in a
ton of them
house or in
too,
a
right?
box at an auction. What's
Yeah,
that?
they made a ton of these things too, right? It
Well,
was like
that's
a
what I'm
big
saying. Like a
industry.
lot sell. I think there's heavy
Yeah.
collectors for them, but yeah, there's also that a lot available to buy too, right? So
And the nice thing was if they're boxwood, you can actually ship them. Like if you're doing ivory and it's going outside of the country, don't go there.
yeah.
You'll
Well,
get in big
hey,
trouble.
if I have anything
Big
of
trouble.
question, I put it in the booth. That's what the booth is there for,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Another reason to have a booth. But all right, buddy. What is your bolo of the week?
Okay, so everyone's seen this. You'll see it all the time, but don't walk away too quick from it. Is Jim Shore? Do you know what Jim Shore is?
Yes, I do. It is. Do you want me to
So
explain what it is?
sure.
You explain it. I do know what it is. I'm not lying, but
Okay. No,
I'll write it down and show you on a piece of paper if you think I'm lying.
no, I believe it. It's a common thing, right? So usually they're like little statues or figures or decorative pieces, right? And it's a very distinctive style. It's kind of like often they have checkerboard, multiple colored styles to them somewhere on the piece,
Yeah.
and they're often made of. I think they're usually almost probably always made of resin, and they're not necessarily super old. And they made a ton of it, right? So I like to look at eBay solds before the show. So when I looked, it's funny how different eBay Canada and eBay.com is. So eBay.com, it's 41,000 listed, but 11,000 sold. And with eBay Canada, it was 33,000 listed, 10,000 sold. So a ratio of about 4 to 1, which actually is pretty good, I
Okay.
find, for stuff.
Yep.
So there's a lot of them out there, but there's also a lot of demand, right? And in Canadian, when I look at the price range they suggest, which is how I kind of like value things a little bit, it recommended 45 to 65. So on average, they're selling between 45 and $65. And I've like I said, they're not uncommon. You're going to see these things out there. You can't just pick them up blindly, though, right? It's like most things with this style, you want to make sure there's no damage, and the subject matter is important because you can see a lot of Disney stuff, which can be good. Like here's a Jim Shore puppet Peanuts one that was like 130. Or a whale can be $30, right? So you
I
see,
found a lighthouse and an angel, and both of them were damaged.
yes, you have to look for damage for sure.
And the one lady was upset. I think she was asking $4 for the lighthouse, but there was damage, and I didn't want it. She was all upset because it was just a little damage. It was like nothing, right? But I'm just like, it's damaged. I don't want it. Right?
Yeah, it's yeah. So definitely look for damage on this stuff. Usually they're not. I usually find they're not so complicated that you'll miss damage. But
No, I didn't miss it. No.
no, I'm not saying you did. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's not like some pieces of pottery you can't. You have to feel it to actually find the
Right.
damage,
Right.
right?
Or toy trains.
Or toy trains. Yeah, like we talked about last time. Yeah, no, for sure. I wish I could be a little better. Like I'm sure most people who watch this or listen to this have no Jim Shore, but if you don't, you have to kind of look at it, and you'll never question what it is again by looking at the patterns.
I feel it almost has a folk arty look to it.
It does,
right?
yeah.
Like it's modern for sure.
It's
But
resin. It's not carved.
It's not carved. It's not handmade. But I don't think they're handmade, are they?
Oh, I doubt it.
Yeah,
not with the
they're
amount
just
they
mass
produce.
produced, right?
Yeah, maybe there's a rare exception, but
Yeah, and um, but I still find they kind of have a folk arty feel, like kind
yes,
of theme to them.
they look handmade even though they're not, right? And like I said, the theme matters, but unfortunately, this is one of those things where Google Lens is your friend
Yeah,
to figuring out the value. I'm just saying, don't walk by them. It's worth the time to check them out, especially if they're only asking $5 or something. You know, if they're asking 20, well, it's up to you if you're going to do it. It had to be pretty big and special. But basically, there are ones worth lots of money. Like there's one here where like uh, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs with the box, $100, right? That's American, so that's like 5 billion Canadian now. So, yeah, Jim Shore. I know it's kind of general. It's like most of you are probably like, oh, I know that, but it's just a reminder to actually take the time to look at these things
yeah.
because they're an easy sell. Like, figurines are kind of go, why is anyone buying them? But just like the other thing you just showed, people collect them and they want the fun stuff. And this is another case too where the boxes help a lot, I think, but
Well,
isn't necessarily end all be all, but it definitely helps in the value of it.
and they display nicely. So if you want a collection, you can display the collection and it looks good.
Yeah,
Or you can just have a one off because somebody walked through your booth or saw online and they saw, wow, that would look, I'd like that, right? Or they
yeah,
make a great gift. Like there's a lot of things goes on with that kind of stuff.
and they're attractive too. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get the appeal of this, right?
yeah,
Like it's kind of like the thing Serge I stole from Serge. I can't even remember the name of it right now, but the animals that are made of vegetables and fruit. It's like, okay, I get this. I
yeah,
understand why people want this.
yeah.
Um, yeah, Jim
I
Shore.
don't know why they pay the money they do for it, but
Well, Oh, I want to say thanks to Sales. He gave me a gift on Sunday.
oh,
A little. He doesn't know I collect toy soldiers, and he gave me a toy Indian, a metal toy
oh,
Indian. It's like, oh, thank you, I appreciate that.
like a Britain
No, it's on. It's not
on
marked. I
Mark.
haven't Google Lensed it yet, so I don't know.
Okay.
But it's vintage. It'll go into my personal collection over here. So
Oh, okay.
thanks.
You collect toy soldiers?
Yeah, screw you. Never
No, do you?
listens to me. Yeah, I do. I told you that before, but I like finding them.
I didn't think you collected anything, Carl.
No, see, look. Well, for everyone at home, this is gonna be thrilling. But see all those things on the in the cabinet there. You see the gold thing there? All toy
Yeah,
soldiers.
I didn't know you collected them though.
Well, let me
I
put
thought
it this
you
way.
just sold them, and that was like a collection until they sold.
No, well, yes, I do have stuff like that. I do.
Okay,
I
but
do.
you
Yeah,
do collect them too, huh?
if I find them, I'm not going to go and buy them off eBay, or I might buy them if like the ones I really like. Before I had a booth at the market. This guy has two names. It's very confusing. Patrick and Steve at the front. That was so confusing. It's like, I thought your name's Patrick, and why are they calling you Steve? And now they're calling you Patrick the other week. It was very confusing. Anyways, he sold me some German flat backed toy soldiers from 1920s
Yeah,
for $20 or something for a whole bunch of them. And say, oh, these are cool. I'm going to keep these because these are fun, right?
yeah.
But I'm not going to go online and buy them. That's the difference.
Well, my point was, I have so many toy soldiers. I should be sending you at least one to put to your collection.
Well, see, this is the thing
I
is,
didn't know you collected them, or I
yeah,
could have
but
done that.
that's very generous and very nice. But I only want certain ones, right? I'm fussy collector. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
but I find them all like, what
The
kind do you
flatbacks.
want?
I like the flatbacks, like the 1910s, 1920s flatbacks. I think they're very charming.
Of Indians or of anything?
Anything
Like military?
military, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
but they can be. But I like finding them. It's something I enjoy finding when I find them. Does that make
Oh,
sense? It's
okay.
kind of like the Dungeons and Dragons, like Wrath Pantha. Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I Ral Patha? What? Anyways, they're not valuable. Or usually not. But I keep them because they're fun. But I
Yeah.
don't, and they don't take up a lot of room. and they don't. Well, they gather dust, that's for sure. But at least it's not too bad where they are. But yeah, no, it's just something I enjoy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
I
they're
didn't know
charming. Anywho, so yeah, thank you, Serge and Jim Shore. Yeah, it's obvious, but don't pass them by. And there are good ones out there. You know, the $60. And the nice thing about figurines is there's no apart from condition issues, there's no testing. And usually these are resin too, so you don't have to worry. Well, I'm not saying you don't have to worry about things breaking off, but they're not as fragile as I find some porcelain or even metal, even toy soldiers. You know, like these old ones here I'm talking about, they're very brittle, right? So
Yeah.
even me just handling some lost their spears just from me touching the spear, like barely, like picking it up. That's how fragile these things can be. Anyways, Jim Shore. So yeah, that was Bolo of the week. Thank you, Tina. Mac, for another week of stress as I try and figure this stuff out.
Yeah. Well, she for anybody wondering why Carl said that, she's the one that convinced us to do the Bolo of the week. It was her idea.
Exactly. Actually, Tina, I want to see in the comment, if you leave a comment this week, I want to see a bolo there so I can steal it. Just like I did from Serge. No pressure. Okay, that's good. You ready for the next bit?
What is the next bit?
Comments of the week.
Comments of the week. All right. Yeah, I'm ready for this.
And speak of the devil.
Tina Mac. Well, we should backtrack because we started a date earlier last week and she left a message, but it was just a little too late. So we never did get to it. So do you want to get to that one?
Well, you have it up already, right? I have.
All right, I do.
Yeah.
So we'll do that one. So this is a couple of weeks old, but I apologize for that. But it's really Carl's fault
because it is my fault. And I can blame Rogers.
Rogers, yes.
Yeah, they were redoing our internet, and then I made them. I got in trouble because Rogers sent me a message saying, "Oh, they're coming Thursday," like after, right?
Yeah.
On Tuesday at some point. So I said to my wife, I was like, "Oh, well, Wednesday should be fine. They're coming Thursday now." So she stayed home Wednesday. It was not fine. And the second she stormed off. Well, stormed off is way too strong, but she left the house to go to the office. And of course, 5 minutes after she left, what came back on? The internet for the rest of the day. Yeah, that was great. Thanks, Rogers.
Yeah, it's always fun getting in trouble,
especially when you're trying to help.
Well, I got in trouble last. I'll tell you what I got in trouble for. It was I couldn't stop laughing. But so I don't know. Steph was busy or something, so I went for a drive, and I decided to go to our favorite spot for a hot dog. It's called the Arbor. It's a special place, and it's local to us, right? But they have the great hot dog where it's a foot long. You can put whatever. Like there's like I don't know, some sort of. It's not like a wet coleslaw. It's just it's dry, but then you got hot peppers, pickles, cucumber. Like you just load these hot dogs up, right? And then they have this handmade, like it's an orange glow, and it's been around forever. Like I remember, since I can remember a time, that was a special treat to go to the Arbor, right? So I'm driving around. I'm like,
glow? Did you say orange glow? What's that?
It's called an orange glow, but it's like it's better than orange juice, but I think it's just pure oranges, to be honest.
Okay.
But it tastes so good. Like it's one of I've never had that drink anywhere. I think it's their special drink. Like they've invented this drink like years ago. So like trust me, it's an amazing place.
So why was she upset? Obviously, you brought her one back.
Well, let me finish. I got in trouble, so kind of know that I did it. So I knew I would get in trouble for this one, right? So I come back. That was about 2:30, maybe 3 in the afternoon, which is getting close to supper time, and I'm like full. So she goes, "What do you want for supper?" I said, "I don't care." She goes, "Well, what do you want?" And I said, "It don't matter to me." I said, "I'm not even hungry. If you want to wait a couple hours, it's fine." She goes, "Well, did you eat already?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, what'd you eat?" I said, "I had a hot dog." She goes, "Okay." She goes, so she wasn't overly hungry and stuff, so we waited a couple hours. And then yesterday, I still had the it comes in a cardboard
You
box.
didn't leave the evidence around, did you?
The evidence in the truck and on
Oh,
the front
rookie
seat.
mistake. Rookie
So I get in the
mistake.
truck, and then she's coming out. She's leaving in her car, and she's going to mine. She opens the. Or I rolled down the window to talk to her. She wanted to talk, and she goes, "Did you go to the arbor?" And I'm like, "I told you that." She goes, "You never told me you went to the arbor." I said, "I went to the arbor." She goes, "I said you asked me if I had something. I had a hot dog. Like, where do you think I went?" she goes, "You went to the arbor without me?" And I was like,
No, I can predict this. In fact, I kind of just did.
So, dude, I couldn't stop laughing, and I think the more I laughed, the better she got.
Like, oh, I went to Cinnamon Bun, but I didn't get you one. I just got myself one.
No. Well, because I was driving around, right? Like I went and I
Right.
sat by the lake because it's right on the lake, like it's right in Port Dover. It's on the lake, so
Mm-hmm.
you just buy it. You just drive down to the lake and you look over the lake and you sit there and eat your food. I think we all been there. I've probably been there a little bit more than others, but
well, let me put it this way: there's a reason I can predict what happened.
exactly. What'd you have? I had a hot dog. Oh, okay. You went to the arbor. There's different hot dogs, right? Like there's,
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so
Here the place would be IKEA. Oh, I went to IKEA and had a hot dog because they have the or Costco. Everyone goes for their stuff at Costco too. Anyways, yeah, okay. So now we're completely derailed. So
we always get derailed somehow. Okay, so we're gonna start with the comments. Tina Mack, Carl, great seeing you in Surge last week. So this is 2 weeks old.
Yep.
Looking forward to a long episode next week with Siraj. He loves to chat. I never would have looked at those figures for the bolo this week. I think that's going to be the ones that are vegetables,
yeah,
with faces, right?
Yeah, the name I can't remember starts with a G, but it's right on my head.
Emperor Morbic. I don't know. I kind of
that's close enough. But yeah, the name of the brand. Yeah,
don't ask me to spell it because it's going to sound the same. Everybody's be. No nice weather yet. Hiding inside from my with my storm chips. Storm chips, is that like comfort food?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's what I'm assuming. So anyways, now she left one 2 days ago. So this is recent. This is from last week's show.
Okay.
2 weeks ago. Do you want me to read this one too?
Oh, got it. I got it here.
Oh, you got it now? Oh, okay.
Well, I got this week's, not last.
Okay.
Week's. I did comment last week. I guess it didn't show up. I can see it. Another good episode. All of you had really useful bolos. I'm sure I've walked past all of them. I still walk past some of them, to be honest. Enjoyed your guest too. Come back soon, Serge. Nice long episode means more listening for me. I'd love a list of all the people you follow or listen to. Can everyone comment on their favorites too? I like the Pure Hustle podcast, and you guys, of course, not sure about the jokes. Can't remember the joke.
She didn't get the
joke? The jokes at the end. Yeah, well, I was grown. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that. Thanks, Tina.
I got a good one this week. This is one I was told when I was a real youngster.
This is what you've done, Tina.
People I follow, Harry Humstone, Jamie, Thrift on Fire, Shed Flips, Craigslist Hunter. Every now and then Commonwealth Picker, because he'll his videos pop up, but I really don't follow what I used to. I used to follow a lot, but that's pretty much it now.
Yeah, I go through cycles of it, right? Yeah. Like the Pure Hustle podcast, they made me upset once, so I don't listen to them. They're spouting a bunch of stuff and also doing a lot of vague posting. I found this amazing thing. I'll tell you about it in the podcast, and then in the podcast, I can't tell you what it is because I don't want to flood the market.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
They would do that one too many times, and it's like, screw you.
Yeah,
like if you don't tease BS.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they're fine, but I was probably moody at the time, and I refused to listen to them anymore.
Yeah,
but
I just don't follow too much anymore. I don't know, just kind of really just too busy. But
well, I listen to like to us the most. But I also listen to Galaxy CD flips.
You like the sound of your own voice,
I
Carl.
do. Yeah. And that was the funny thing, like at the market, like Chris is trying to troll me with my own voice. And I said, this isn't gonna work, dude. It's like I listen to myself all the time. I don't care. I don't care. Um but yeah, Galaxy CD flips for news. He does a lot of news. Uh and it's good for the car because he's on Spotify. Storage Warrior, she's out of BC. Um I listen to her stuff too. She does a podcast, but it's once every few weeks. And to be clear, like everyone I listen to, I don't agree with everything they say,
Yeah.
but for reselling, I like them. How about that? So along that route is Golden State Picker. I like
Oh,
his
yes.
I like his reselling stuff. I
Yeah.
don't like the rest. So you have to kind of pick what you like, but for reselling, he's really good.
Yeah. I like everything about
Exactly. So we have a bit different opinions.
him.
Well, obviously, there's Two Dogs Digs. I like them because I like them. They're my friends, and I go on there, so it's even better. But also, they do show a lot of stuff I don't think of. So it's a variety of things that I just don't pick up and can be really good.
I watch them when you're on, but they pick differently than I do.
Yeah.
They're in the city. They pick more like you do, I think.
Yes.
So
More modern stuff, less
yeah.
vintagey stuff, right? Or antique stuff. It is a different market. I actually picked up a magazine this week, eh? It's like flea market finds. Just because it was covering a lot of this, even though it's a modern magazine, right? And you can't trust too much of what it says, but it was covering all the stuff I kind of need to learn for the flea market. It's like, okay, this is actually convenient. Like it was talking about like butter dishes. It was talking about umbrellas, suitcases, just weird stuff that I know people like at the flea market, but I know zero about. So, anyways.
Well, it'd be interesting if they start showing videos of their antique booth because I might watch that more.
Yeah, well, they're going to. So,
okay. So let me know when that happens because I'll probably end up watching that. That's more what I do, right? So,
yeah, and I'm closer to them. They do stuff like modern valuable things, right? Which is also like in my wheelhouse.
Well, you know what? I don't mean to interrupt you too much there, Carl, but I also find that in a weird sort of way, like you find things your way that I'm not going to really, I don't really find a whole lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I think where you live, you can find different things. Even though you're looking for different things, I don't know. Does that make sense?
The main difference is where I live is a high population. We're about 1 million in Ottawa and surrounding area.
Yeah.
So our value villages get a lot of inventory pounding through it, right?
Right.
And because of that, the way I started was with Value Village, and you get a lot more modern stuff with Value Village. You're going to get much more of a mix.
Yeah, you're definitely more modern for sure.
More modern. You do get antiques, but not nearly what you're going to get if you go out to the countryside or auctions or things like that, right? No. It's not curated at all. It's just or minimally curated. So that's where I'm from. So
okay.
The other one I do watch, and I might pause and go back to is Antique Nomad, because he is very knowledgeable and he does antiques and he does a lot of pottery and glass.
Yeah.
And it's the sort of thing I need to watch over and over with him. And he also talks prices. So
yeah, I used to like watching, but he does do too much pottery and glass for me. I'm not really into that.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I'm exposed to that type of glass, high quality glass, is usually at auctions, and it's all glass collectors, and I usually don't get that stuff. Like,
right,
because it's way beyond, the prices are way beyond my knowledge.
That's my experience here with Crocs, believe it or not. Stoneware Crocs.
Well, Crocs are, dude, you can have two Crocs that look the same pretty much, and one's worth $200 or $1,000 and one's worth $10.
Right. So I gave up on Crocs because there's way too much knowledgeable people
Yeah.
who know Crocs, right?
Yeah.
But you'll see them, but I won't touch them, right? And I know some
Yeah.
are valuable, just like you said, but I won't touch them. So it's the
Yeah.
same kind of thing.
Stoneware jugs and all that. It's all the same, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Antique Nomad, but I like Antique Nomad. He does a lot of vintage stuff too. But yeah,
Yep.
you're right. He does do a lot of pottery and glass, and that's where he's an expert.
Good.
Is there anyone else? I know I'm missing people. Well, this millionaire. Oh God, what are they called? Millionaire something?
Peddler.
I think it is those guys. But I watch that more for entertainment. He does a lot of paper magazines and stuff like that. But sometimes I'll watch. That's more for entertainment than for knowledge for me. But yeah, I think that's most of them. Like I said, I go through cycles. Like well, you mentioned Harry Humstone, of course.
Yeah.
I'll watch his stuff. You know, I don't like getting overwhelmed with too much stuff because you could spend all day watching people doing bolo episodes, right? And you're gonna overwhelm yourself. I need to kind of take it bit by bit. So
Yeah, I think I started watching to learn stuff, and now I've kind of developed. I'm watching it because of the character,
yes, that happens for sure. Yeah.
right? So I've been following Shed Flips and Craigslist Hunter from the beginning, and they kind of keep it. They slowly change it, like from Lonnie to Lonnie and Candace, and now how they pick here, and now they're doing more private picks, and they're getting a variety of different stuff. Like I really enjoy their chemistry together. I think Candace brings a lot to the show. Like Lonnie's lucky to have Candace be so into the show.
And it's funny, I don't watch it. It's not my style.
Yeah, it's totally my style for sure. I really enjoy the way they do it.
Yeah.
And then Craigslist Hunter, been watching him since the beginning of time. He even came on our show live once.
Yeah.
But which, was really nice of him to do.
It was very generous, yeah.
But he just kind of has a store. It's almost like it's a better version in my opinion. It's a real version, but it's still like watching Pawn Stars. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's more like that style. Yeah.
So
which
he's
is
got
highly successful.
which are store employees and all that kind of stuff, and it changes up, and it's well done. Like it's well edited and filmed. Jamie and Harry are characters that are friends. You know what I mean? So I like watching what they're doing just to see, hey, what are you guys doing, right? But I don't really get a chance to respond too much on their platform because I'm watching all this stuff on TV now.
Yeah.
So, right? You can't respond to their, because everything is on the smart TV. Where before, remember all the lives we did, Carl? Remember everybody had lives going on? Well, I would go on my computer and watch the live so I could comment, right?
Yep. I watched one Jiminy Flip It last night. He used to do lives all the time, but he hasn't done them for a long time because life gets in the way. Also, there was like a hot period too for reselling, and I really think that's kind of that trend is gone now.
Yeah.
And there are people left, of course, but it's not like it was a year or two ago, right?
I'm going to say this. For me, I agree. There was a hot time when reselling was really hot and everybody was trying to get into it. But right now, reselling for me has not ever been better.
Right.
So why people are getting out of it is really interesting to I'd really like to talk to people and find out why they're getting out of it, right?
Honestly, I think it's about what we talked about earlier. I think a lot of people get attracted by the big finds. Like when you find that $5 thing that's worth $200,
right?
That's awesome.
Yep.
But that's not like a daily thing. And if it is a daily thing, you're putting a lot of time into it. And the fact is, people don't really account for their time in this very much. And when it comes down to it, we spend a lot of time on it. And my return on my time is probably like minimum wage, to be honest, right? If I'm lucky. And I think a lot of people got tricked. Not tricked. That's not fair. A lot of people underestimated how much you have to sell to get a good return on your time. and there was a lot of competition out there for a while as well. Like it used to be, you go to Value Village, wherever, and resellers everywhere, and everyone was complaining they could never find anything, and the prices were up. Well, prices were up because Value Village saw all these people going, and you can find anything because there's 1,000 resellers going. But I say it's down 50%. I'm just guessing, but I think it's down 50%. And so you can find stuff now, but you know, it's all the other stuff too. I just said.
Yeah, I'd be really interested in talking to people that got out of it and why they got out of it. But and this is my opinion. This isn't even an opinion that I'm like dead set saying this is why. But this is my feeling. My feeling is people, and I don't say this badly. I just think it's what it is. I think people never got good sourcing. So maybe they enjoyed yard sales, maybe they enjoyed thrift stores, but they didn't really go beyond that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Well, I say more. Tell me more about what you mean.
Well, so now you're paying too much for that item because there's a lot of competition out there, or you're not finding it because there's a lot of competition out there enough to live off of, or they're not sourcing. So basically, they're not sourcing enough stuff, and if they're finding it tough.
I think it's volume. It's hard to get the volume.
Yes.
Like when I go out and I hit the thrift stores for a day, and by a day I mean like 3 to 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
From door to door. I might get 2 bags and a bit of stuff on a good day. 2 big Value Village bags full of stuff if I'm lucky. That's not enough.
Right.
For the 4 hours I've invested.
And if you're investing 4 hours a day into sourcing, that's 4 hours a day you're not listing.
Yes. And you get home and you have to clean the stuff. Right. Technically. Or check it over, or and what you do is you remember the wins. You remember that day you went out, spent $100 and you got like $2,000 worth of stuff. But a lot of days where you went out and spent $100 and you found $200 of stuff, or you find nothing. I've had those days too, where you spend 3 or 4 hours and you come home with basically an empty bag. And actually, Two Dogs Digs, Craig was complaining about that last night on his show, that he used to do this show, Thrift It or Leave It or whatever. I can't. It's great, but anyways, I can't remember the name of it. But he said he stopped because he wasn't finding enough at the stores. So they can go. It's not reliable enough, right? That's the thing I really like about auctions is you can get big bulk amount of stuff in one day at one place with one drive, right?
Yeah. Auctions, private picks, and now yard sale season. I think I find quality stuff. Not everything's maybe eBay worthy, but that's what I have the booth for, which really really holds its own. You know what I mean?
And also, like, you hear this sometimes. I quit and went back to a job, and it's really nice to get a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks. There is something to that when you're trying to, because when you're doing this full time, and I know I'm speaking to the choir here, but the amount of money you make every week varies. It's not like it's the same amount, right? And that can be hard on people too, right? Like when you get that $10,000 month and then the next month is $5,000 and you haven't done anything wrong, it can be very appealing to go get a job for $7,000 every month or whatever. Well, so we're just talking in generalization, right?
Yeah.
So, there's that aspect as well. I think there's a reason a lot of us are retired doing this too. Let's be blunt, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like we're not counting on the money.
Toyota too, get paid well, but also you're lots of overtime was involved too, right? So,
and you get sick leave and you get vacation leave,
and you can get a loan easily.
Do you get a pension?
Well, at Toyota, you do, yeah.
Yeah. So when you add all that stuff up,
benefits.
it's more than 70,000 or 80,000 a year. It's like 120, 130, right? So,
Oh yeah,
but you have freedom. You can do what you want.
yeah. No, there's definitely bonuses to working. I think if you're young, it's even worse because sure, it's better because you can go out there and you can do a lot more. You're young, full of energy, but if you want to get a loan and all that kind of stuff, like it's
Oh,
a lot
yes.
easier.
Yeah, you're doomed.
You're
Yeah.
a lot easier if you can show a steady paycheck at Toyota. They'll throw money at you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
they don't like it when you say, like, I sell on eBay. They're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, how do we know what you're going to get next month? Well, I got 14 boxes of toy soldiers.
You should give me a loan based on that.
You know, I have about $80,000 left in retail on toy soldiers. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? What
loan
does
me
that count for?
500,000. Yeah, they don't
What do you
like
mean I
that.
don't deserve a loan? Did you see the car parts I picked up in the last auction?
This is genuine old stuff. Yeah, they're not fans of that. No.
Yeah. This
Uh,
steering wheel's worth $200. What do you mean? Holy
but
shit.
on the other hand, if you have a full time job, this is an excellent way to supplement it because a lot of the work you can do is on weekends, anyways. Garage sales are on weekends, auctions are on weekends or at night. You can do private picks whenever you want. You can do
Yeah.
auction. You can do Value Village before or after work. Well, I guess after work. Like it's not something you can't do on your spare time, anyways. If you have a full time job.
Yeah. And you know what? Er, I'm kind of just spewing out there. Like everything's good so far for me, so I can't complain. But I don't know. That's about all I can say.
Well,
I'd,
thank you,
I'd be
Tina.
interested. I'd be interested to know why people like maybe they found good sourcing, but you just get tired of it. So, like sometimes in the summertime when I'm out there yard sailing, like it's hot at 11 o'clock, and I'm like, I just want to go for a beer. Or, I'm tired today. I don't want, you know what I mean. So that's happened.
Well, at 10, I'm generally mentally done.
Yeah,
Like I've said, when I'm driving around and not even looking at the stuff, it's just I'm just going to the garage sale, not even looking at the tables. Really, it's like okay, time to go home.
yeah,
You know, it can be exhausting, and it is bloody early too, which is not my favorite thing. So I
and
bitched about
yeah.
that enough.
Sometimes you have to have some deep pockets, right? Like
Yeah,
to go and spend $2,000 to $5,000 on a private pick. Sure, that might make your next couple of months or so, but you have to have that available right at that time.
yep,
You know what I mean? You can't say,
yeah,
"Well, I'll give you 500 now and 500 next week," and over. They want the house cleared. You either take it now or they'll go to somewhere else, right?
yep. And in this business too, it's like you can do everything right and still lose sometimes.
Yep.
So
And I think when you have the opportunity to buy a lot, I think this is my opinion, and Steph will disagree with me because it gets all over the place. But
well, that's a
I
good
don't
point
want
too.
to pass up a buy, especially if it comes from a regular source, right? Like for instance, we go to a couple auctions, or I'll go and do a pick, and Steph's like, "You got so much stuff around here. Why are you going out for another pick?" And I'm like, "Because I don't want that source feeling they need to go to somewhere else, or I haven't been to the auction in the last 3 months." And that's an important source there. I want them to know that I'm still coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like because then I get the opportunity to buy these 1920 shelves. You know what I mean? Or I get a book, like a collection of books, because they don't want to have to deal with lugging it around and taking photos of it. They're just, I'll buy it for $500 and I'll take the whole bunch. I need
yeah,
to keep that kind of relationship going.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
if a friend calls me and I turn him down twice because I'm full, he finds somebody else to call to come and pick this stuff up.
He might
Now,
call the next
now
time.
I've got
Yeah,
competition. I can't
yeah,
afford to let that slip, right? So
no,
sometimes you have to just be willing to just take it on. And
yeah,
that's another reason all these boosts come in, because sometimes if I get overloaded with inventory, it's an easy dump. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Just take it there and it's done. Throw some price tags on it, throw it a little bit cheaper. You got this stuff cheap because you bulk buy. You're still making profit, you know. So there's a lot of things to consider. So are we on to the next one yet? We
Yeah,
got
I'm ready for the next
hours
one
each
here.
comment, right?
I'm already looking at it. We're ready to go here. So
Okay.
we're going to do YouTube.
Okay.
I'll start with Don.
Okay.
Great show, guys. I've actually been working today, so I have a little less to say overall. You're welcome. Thanks, Don. Don doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, quote unquote, till you read the rest of the paragraph. So, winning. I can't remember what it was, Don. So,
I remember.
Serge was a great guest. Maybe he'll come back sometime. Yeah, for sure. All
Yeah.
right, back to listening, Carl. Thanks, Don.
Siraj is welcome here anytime. It was
Yes.
it was a fun show, to be honest. First time having a guest on, like 3 people. I thought it went very well.
Yeah, I thought so too.
All right. Our buddy Jamie from Norfolk County, boy. Helping folks pay rent one price treasure at a time. That was absolutely hilarious. That's Siraj's strategy, Carl.
Yeah.
You're not laughing, Carl.
Taking advantage of us poor people just trying to pay our rent.
Well, Jamie sees the humor in it like I do, so that's good. Yeah. All right.
Next one is from Nova Scotia Celt.
Randy.
Hey guys. Serge was a great guest. I love the rent week hack.
That's great.
Especially your reaction to it. Yeah, everyone seems to like it. For me, nothing wrong with using any advantage. I was negotiating with this old guy selling a polar bear license plate. Hey, I've sold one of those before. But it was a week before pension checks were coming, and he really needed to buy some smokes. Does that make me a bad person?
Nope. Hey, listen. This is the way I look at it. You supplied that guy with the ability to go buy smokes. Right?
Yeah.
If somebody's hard up for money and they got something that you're interested in, you're helping them out.
Yeah.
Right?
Justification.
Yeah.
A topic for hey, I don't blame you. Like I would do the same thing.
Right? So what's that? What Jesus say? Give the guy fish to eat, feed him for a day. Teach him how to catch fish, feed him for a lifetime. So that
Did
guy
Jesus say that? Was that a Jesus quote? Was that a quote from Jesus?
Pretty sure that's a. I'm pretty sure that's a Jesus.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't mean I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah, is it? Didn't he? I don't know. We won't get into it. Pretty sure it was.
Okay.
However, my point being that hey, I can teach you how to sell this polar bear license plate, and you can have smokes for the rest of your life, right?
Exactly.
You get smokes today.
Well, he was selling the license plate, but then he had to give it away for smokes.
For smokes.
A topic for a show. How do you fare on Facebook Marketplace? Screw Facebook Marketplace. I took all my listings down because I live in the woods and Facebook people are smart as a red brick. Put up an ad giving away picture frames for free. 3 goofy responses in 6 hours. Never put anything up for free, is my opinion. You always get the, can you come and just deliver it to my house? And, can you bring it upstairs? And can you clean it? And, what's the condition? And, choosy beggars is definitely something that happens a lot on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Hey, but some people love it. So I edited the ad to include meatheads. Need not inquire. Maybe I better watch myself. Don't want to end up in Yale. Oh God.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't do I know some people actually buy on Facebook Marketplace, but I get impatient and it's like I want $50 for this thing that sells for $20 on eBay. And it's like, okay, I'm done. I just
Steph sold something last night. People came and they got it and there was no problem. Nice smooth transaction. I had to help them carry it, which was friggin' heavy, but that's what I'm here for.
I always wondered at the other end, what did they do at the other end? That's their problem, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
you want to do the next one?
That costs another $50. Carver man, this is Siraj. I'm screwed. I'm really a good buyer. I just get a slight discount at the end of the month. That's a great buyer, as far as I'm concerned. Right?
Yeah.
Siraj, you have to do that kind of stuff. That is, you don't want to, like the way I look at it, you're not going to buy it unless you do get that discount. So they're happy, you're happy.
Well, on the last Sunday of the month, I'm going to charge him for sitting down in my spare chair.
That's
when
fine.
He's desperate and in pain, he's going to have to pay to sit in that chair.
But then he's not going to pay.
Oh, he'll pay.
No, he won't. And you're going to be out a buyer on all your stuff.
All my wrinkles. I'll do the next one. Great show, gentlemen. Oh, from Serge as well. Not because I was on. You guys were kind enough to have me on and let me ramble on about my wife and I's reselling adventure. Well, that's why we had you on, Serge. Let's talk about all that.
Yep.
I'm glad I didn't let out a French swear word. Well, we have also let out some swear words. I think I did 2 in the one podcast. With my accent, I probably sounded like the French goalie in the movie Slapshot with the Hanson brothers.
That's a great movie. Have you watched that movie, Carl?
I watched parts of it.
You haven't? I've watched that movie probably 20 times.
I'm a bad Canadian. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
It was funny.
He hooks like this, and then he slashes a like of this.
Yeah, see, right over my head.
Yeah, when he's with the commentator, and they're sitting down on the chairs, and the goalie, the French goalie, is showing him what a hook is, but he's hooking the guy with the stick, and he's showing him what it slashes, and he smacks him across the legs.
Yep.
All right.
Classic movie. It was funny. I had when my friend was in the booth this weekend, he was talking to another person about like football and stuff like that, and they could like recall every game from like 40 years ago or 50 years ago. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys talking about? I couldn't believe it. Like the knowledge they have of these obscure NHL or NFL, CFL games was crazy.
I think one of my favorite parts was the Hanson brothers. They just had a fight and they're all beat up, and they're like everybody's all before the game even started, before the national anthem. And then they're standing there listening to the national anthem, and the referee's all mad. He comes up to one of the Hanson brothers. He's like, I want this to be a clean game. I don't want any fight. And the guy goes, shut up. I'm trying to listen to the music or the anthem. And then like the referee's like, oh, that's a great show. Anyway,
I did watch that one game with the Senators where like everyone had a fight on the ice and there was no players left because they all were in the penalty box or something insane. I didn't see that one.
Dude, hockey used to be a great sport. The Canadian juniors, when them and the Russians got into that fight, and everybody I think they ended up shutting the lights off and all that. Oh, those are the good old days.
Your podcast is a great source of information for resellers, and it's a source of social interaction for myself, and I'm sure many others. Yes, that's why I hope. That's why I'm in for it. It's not the money. Let me put it that way. I haven't received any checks yet from Scott over there.
Yeah, well, there's no checks coming in. We don't even got advertisements yet. I think we have to have 1,000 subs before we even, we're at 118. So, and the Spotify, I don't even know, but I haven't set it to monetization, but I don't even know what the specs are there. But we have 72 followers.
It costs them more to print the check on paper than it would be what they're giving us.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all good though. We're not, if you want to get into money, YouTube reselling is probably not one of the ones.
Yeah.
And then we got a reply from Nova Scotia Celt.
Really enjoyed your visit to the podcast. So he's talking to Carver. He's talking to Siraj about that one, and I would agree. I was glad to have Siraj on.
And Saj replies, thanks. Wife and I enjoy reselling, and I love the thrill of the hunt. Yep, and mostly talking to each other, to people. Yep, same here. Yeah, no, it was good. Thank you, Saj, for coming on and all that stuff.
Yepper.
So, Is there anything else? Are we
No,
done?
I think that's it, dude.
That's it.
I think so.
So a short one today, only 2 hours
Yes, it is.
before the cuts.
Before cuts, yes.
So yeah,
Um, I don't know. Anything else, Carl? I think that's about it, man.
yeah. It's one of those weeks where I have all these appointments for me. Both me and the cat get to see the doctor this week, right in the middle of the day. So I'm not going to be sourcing, I think, this week. So I'm going to have to go through my death pile to bring things to the booth. And I don't think I've what day is it? It's Wednesday. I don't think I've listed this week either. That's pretty bad. Maybe I'll do a bit of that. The Funko Pops are so easy though. It's like picture, done. Picture, done. Yeah, but
Yeah, in the box, that's the easiest for sure.
what about you? You had that auction you said?
Yeah, that's tonight. I'll finish that up. Pickup is on Saturday for that. Just get a list. I got a bunch of stuff ready to go to the booth. Monday is going to be vendor day, so I'll be busy that day. Tuesday, probably picking up the I get it. It's a display case, but it's huge and attaches to the wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's we'll see what happens. I'll let you know what I get next week out of this auction, if anything. But I'm sure there'll be something. Yeah, that's it that I know of. Maybe hopefully a private pick comes in there. Just
Yeah.
Honestly, I hope things slow down for a couple of weeks. I don't mind doing these auctions and picking up some of the the oddity like stuff that you don't see often. But really, I gotta start working on this stuff here. Like I have a lot of stuff, right? So.
Well, I was going to say the shelves behind you are actually starting to fill up a bit. They were kind of empty but now there's a few things I don't remember being behind you, like the alien head.
Do you see the alien head?
The alien, I noticed the alien head, and I don't remember that before.
I sold one of those before, right?
Yeah.
Out of the booth, I got $75. This one was in the auction, and that was in the toy box. So I'm like, $75 right there.
Yep, there you go.
Right? So $10 was a no-brainer on that. But that was in the box.
Just random stuff appearing slowly.
I have a new. I just saw a bolo for next week.
Okay.
I will save it till then. But I see it right there. It needs some cleaning, but it's probably about $700.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. There's a teaser for everyone.
And I paid $2 for it at a yard sale.
Wow!
I know exactly where I bought it. And as I was carrying it down the driveway, some guy comes up and goes, "Wow, how much did you pay for that? Those things are awesome, right? Like those are expensive." And I'm like, start running. yeah, shut up. I put it in my truck and take off.
I've learned not to talk to other people at garage sales.
Like, guy, who does that, man?
I know. Like, I remember I didn't do that like out loud, but I kind of said, "Oh, nice buy" once, and like, say, I probably shouldn't have said anything. Just keep
nice buy is fine. I think that's kind of. I wouldn't go any further than that.
No,
right?
No.
But when you sit there and say $2 for a $500,
you rip them off.
Yeah.
No.
I sold those for $2,000, right?
Yeah, time. Shut up. Yeah, exactly.
No, but I'll save that. I'll save mentioning that till next week. That'll be a little cliffhanger.
There you go.
But so this joke.
Oh crap!
Back from when I was a youngster.
Thanks, Tina.
Yeah. I want to warn you. This is how it was told to me, and it is probably the dirtiest joke I've ever heard in my life. Should I say it, Carl?
No.
Well, I guess I can edit if I have to, but it's a really, really dirty.
Okay, go ahead. I was joking.
It's really dirty. Do you want to hear a dirty joke?
Well, you would have to now. I was complaining.
Yes or no? Do you want to hear a dirty joke?
Sure. Yes, go ahead.
2 white horses fell in a mud puddle. That's it. They're dirty.
There you go. Thank you, Tina, for that awesome end of the podcast joke.
So, I was like 10 years old, And there was someone like the person said that. Do you want to hear a really dirty joke? And I'm like, yeah, man, yeah. You want to hear a really dirty? It's really dirty. It's a dirty, dirty joke. I don't know if I should tell you. No, tell me. I won't say nothing. 2 white horses fell in a mud puddle.
Well, that's what it's come down to.
All right, there you go.
Perfect.
So it is a PG show, so I had to kind of tone it down.
Right. Of course.
All right, there you go.
Awesome. End it.
You're not laughing.
Kill it.
Laughing.
Well, we need a little hook thing to finish the show. Let's go.
All right, we're every Friday, Spotify and YouTube, audio only. And tell a friend. Awesome. Have a good week, Carl. Have a good week, everyone.
You too. Bye, everyone.